Welcome to the Hexagon Challenge 100th episode extravaganza and the parade of past positions featuring Caversham, Hamilton Wanderers, Cucuta Deportivo, Atletico Nacional, and Monaco. Also an important game against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. Sit back, relax, and drink it in, man. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM, the 100th episode of the Hexagon Challenge. Hope you guys are doing well. If you are looking forward to today's episode, where we've got this game against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League, and we're going to have a look back at our previous clubs as well briefly after this game as well, just to see how they're getting on. Then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you are new around here and enjoy what you are seeing, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. But we start today looking at the Champions League group going into this game, and you will notice that Man City are in the mud. Doodah. They are in deep trouble in this group because they've already played their fourth match week game before ours kicks off, and they lost at home 1-0 to Villarreal. So after 4 games, they're on 1 point, and we could go up to 10 if we win this game today against Bayer Leverkusen. If we don't, it's certainly going to open up the group. So hopefully we do get some points. But yeah, Manchester City, Carlo Ancelotti has brought his Everton form to Manchester City. It's fair to say they're still only 6th in the Premier League and a little way off Chelsea. Not as close as they were earlier in the season when we last looked at this table. So Carlo Ancelotti probably under a bit of pressure. And we here at PSG have started to really hit our stride, it feels like. We're starting to click into gear. And yeah, on recent form, I'd like to think that we can pick up a win against Bayer Leverkusen, much like we did in yesterday's episode, which if you have not checked out, I will leave a link to in the top right corner. But before we get into today's game, we do have some Ligue 1 action to catch you guys up on. So 2 games in Ligue 1 since yesterday. It started off with an away trip to Montpellier, and we picked up a good 3-0 win here. Our front three sharing the spoils in this game. It started off in the 26th minute. Mariba up to Argueri. Plays Augusto through, nice finish into the left-hand side of the goal, and we were 1-0 up just over halfway through the first half, and then right before half-time, it was Kylian Mbappe, Antonio Augusto finding him with a nice ball there, and Mbappe sweeping it home into a very similar spot that Augusto found, and then late in the game, it was João Felix, Argueri to Mariba, plays Felix through, and somehow sneaks that past Ribeiro very quickly after half-time, and we picked up a good 3-0 win. A lot of yellow cards in this game, but we'll take that win, a game that we did dominate, which has been a common theme since the tactic change. I say tactic change, the slowing down of the tempo and switching Medina from a deep-lying playmaker to a defensive midfielder. That seems to have worked an absolute trick, and we've found a very nice patch of form since then, it's fair to say. And off the back of that, we actually made a little bit of rotation for this game against Troyes a couple of days prior to today's game, and we absolutely pants these guys 6-0 at home. It took us a little while to get going in this game, but once we did, the floodgates opened. 34th minute, we got the first goal. Cedra with a slide tackle there. The ball fell to Mariba, blasted down to the top left corner, and from there, it all started happening. So 1-0 at that stage. Then was Bakar on the right-hand side. Lovely ball, finds João Felix, who was playing up front for this game, and Mbappe being rested, buried that to make it 2-0. Then another one right before halftime. Gvardiol hitting that on to Bakar at the far post, and it was 3-0 as we got into halftime. And then right off the kickoff, we were able to make it 4. Lovely 1-2 between Augusto and Bakar, setting up Augusto to make it 4-0 just after halftime. We got a penalty in the 60th minute. Felix this time putting it away to get on a hat-trick. And the last goal was a Gvardiol header from a Cedra corner in the 66th minute. And a very nice win. You look at the stats, 35 shots to 2, 13 on target to none. A lot of clear-cut chances, a lot of half chances. One of our shots hit the woodwork. It was a very, very good display. I would say our best of the season both performance and result wise, it was a very nice watch, that one, especially considering some of the players that we did leave out. Mariba was able to come off early. We put Acosta, Jean, and Cedra, as well as taking Mbappe out of the team. So we made a fair few changes. We also gave Siu Saleska a rest as well. Put Merkovic in goal, and he did a good job for us as well. So it was a really nice performance from the boys there. And we are now in Ligue 1 in a very good position. We are on top of the table. Marseille dropped points a couple of match weeks ago, losing to Saint Etienne, I believe that was. It was them or Stade Rennais, but either way, we have jumped ahead of them by 1 point. And Monaco are also stuttering. So us and Marseille have got a decent gap over third and fourth. So early doors, it's looking like us two challenging for the title. But Marseille might just be starting to feel European football catching up with them. So I'm hoping that we can keep this good Ligue 1 form going and start to pinch a gap over them and really stamp our authority on Ligue 1, which would be nice to see on our end. But we will come into this game. We are at full strength, no injury concerns at all, and most players having been rested for that Troyes game if they needed to be. So coming into this Bayer game, hopefully we can get the job done a little bit more convincingly than we did in yesterday's episode. We'll come back shortly with team sheets from the Parc des Princes. So our team is exactly how we want to line it up. Full strength, everyone where they should be. It's a nice team to be putting out in a game like this, where a win would certainly help our chances of going through to the next round. Because if we win this, I don't know if Bayer could go past us, even if they did join us level on points. So this would be a nice win to get. Bayer's team looking very similar to the one we took on in yesterday's episode. So we'll just crack into this and hopefully, as I said, a similar result to yesterday, but hopefully a bit more convincing at our home ground. And there is the Bayer Leverkusen formation of 5-3-2. So they are set up very defensively. And in the past, that has been something that we've struggled to break down at times with this tactic. So maybe that's why the last game against Bayer Leverkusen was a bit scrappy. We could be in for something similar. And yeah, hopefully we can pull out a similar result, though that would be nice to get us on 10 points and in a very good position with 2 games to go to get out of this group. And it would probably make Manchester City's chances of getting out of the group near impossible as well. So things you love to see. We are playing right to left, kicking off with the ball, and we have an early throw-in by Leverkusen in the black as they were yesterday. Argueri heads that back to Bakar. Hopefully we can make a good start here, although we lose possession, and it's still 0-0 early doors. Okay, first real highlight of the game here. It's a Leverkusen throw-in, but Mariba just runs through someone to get that back for us. Plays the ball for Mbappe, gets on the end of it, but the shot goes wide. Nice ball from Mariba. But Mbappe not on target, still 0 after 20 minutes. Throw in for PSG. Yeah, very quiet half so far, only one decent chance, and that was Mbappe who blasted it wide, but otherwise we did have a shot from Augusto, but tight angle was never going to go in the back of the net, so hopefully something else happens here in our favour. They do knock it about the back at the moment, do Bayer, and hopefully we can get this off them with a bit of pressing. Hübner on the ball, back to Schultz. They do hold possession well at the moment, though, do Leverkusen. Julian Nagelsmann got them keeping the ball quite nicely. Getting it forward, but then passing it back. Now, Avdic, sorry. Back to Hübner. This is a long highlight. Got me a bit worried. Kaderback puts it in. Rosa somehow onside. Although, is he? I don't think he is. The goal graphic hasn't come up. It was a nice ball from Kaderback, but looks like Rosa was offside. And indeed he is, so we do stay up, but they've put the ball in the back of the net, so we've got to be a bit careful here. We'll look at it here on the replay. Just offside, not much putting him offside there. Good finish in the end, but luckily it's still 0 as we approach half-time. And we are at half-time here, and it was a boring as bat poop first half, it has to be said. Nothing of note really happening there. Bayer Leverkusen getting a goal ruled out for offside. Rightfully so, albeit not by much, but we've been dominating the game, not as much as we do in League. But that's expected. Just need to be showing a bit more, it's fair to say. So I think we're going to have a go at the boys at half-time here, tell them they need to improve, and we might also be taking Antonio Augusto off because it wasn't great that first half, and his wasn't that great either. We'll just tell the boys we know what they've got, what it takes to improve, and it looks like it's helped most of them out. We will take Augusto off, just laying down a bit of a dud at the moment, so we'll bring Jesus Morello on for him, and hopefully he can just provide a bit more impetus for us going forward, and we'll start the second half. Hopefully it's better than the first, because surely it can't be any worse. And it will be Leverkusen kicking off, playing right to left. Free kick to PSG very early in the second half, so hopefully a decent highlight coming from this. Bayer up for Morello, heads that on, but straight to a Leverkusen player. Schultz plays that back to Holzmann. We'll play out from the back here, will Leverkusen. They pump one long, but we're able to intercept that, and hopefully we can get something going. Ilax Mariba. Morello, Mbappe, lovely position. Oh, that came out of nowhere. Really poor clearance from Leverkusen. It was Mariba finding Morello. There was a bit of a deflection in there. The ball ended up to Mbappe in a nice position to slot that away, bottom right corner. And as I said, after a very, very dull first half, we do have a goal to go ahead. Mariba put a pass in, got blocked, fell to Morello, who was able to find Mbappe nicely. Good finish from the French legend, and we are 1-0 up early in the second half. Throw in for PSG here, and we do keep possession from it for now. 50 minutes gone, and Mbappe down the right just skins his man for fun, getting inside the box. Ball across for João Felix. Had a bit of a long shot there, but it was blocked. Keep possession, and hopefully we can get another chance coming from this highlight one. Gomez Mariba finds Felix, and he blasted over the bar, although he was offside, and it's still 1-0, but a bit more happening in the second half. 70 minutes gone here. We've got a few players on yellow hearts. Gary not having a great game, it's fair to say. We'll take him off because we do have options. I think we're going to bring Cedra on in the midfield for him just because he can cover that role. And we may as well give him a crack there while he's not playing that well. We could also bring Doku on for Felix, but we'll just see what happens between Felix and Bayer and see, maybe take one of those two off later in the game. But we'll make that change, just see if Cedric can provide a bit more impetus going forward as we are 1-0 up with 20 minutes to go. Goal kick for PSG, 73 minutes gone, and we play out from the back, and hopefully we can get something going and hopefully get a cushion goal, which would be nice. Mbappe gets past his man easily. Tight angle, but buries it. That was far too simple for Kylian Mbappe. He gets a double. Bayer showing that we left him on rightly because he was a player I was considering taking off before, along with Felix. Nice ball for Mbappe, albeit the Leverkusen defence here just got absolutely skinned by him. Rolls it past the goalkeeper inside the far post, and it's 2-0 with 17 minutes to go. Corner in the 77th minute. We're getting a nice late flurry on here. Todibo heads it in the back of the net. Mbappe putting his footprints all over this game. An assist to go of his 2 goals. Nice work goal from the corner. Todibo hitting that from the near post inside the far. The goalkeeper getting blocked by Mariba. We've got in that position now. He's got a bit more bravery than what we had previously in the team. And a very good second half by us. 3-0 up with 10 to go. Free kick after 82 minutes. Morello puts it deep. Vardiol just inside the net. Boy, I was wondering what was going on there. He headed it. Looked like it came off the bottom of the top crossbar, and it sort of got a bit of backspin on it. It's just nestled its way inside the post. And we are now 4-0 up. The second half performance has been very good in Morello. That's now 2 assists for him, you can see. I think it bounced over the line the first time anyway, but it eventually ended up in the back of the net. And it is 4-0, a very, very good half from us. Yeah, and as I said, I think that Morello sub providing some good stuff for us. 4-0 very late in this game. Okay, 87 minutes gone. We are going to take João Felix off on a red heart. Game well and truly beyond doubt now. And we'll bring Jeremy Doku on for him. Not sure if there's going to be many more highlights, to be fair, though. 4-0 late in this Champions League tie. And sure enough, we are past referee's time. Nothing's really happened since we got that 4th goal, but really happy with the second half. Little bit of luck to get that first one, a deflected pass from Mariba that found Morello. He was able to slot Mbappe in, but since then, we have looked very good those last 15 minutes, or 16 minutes, I should say, in particular. We really turned on the style and picked up a nice 4-0 win by Leverkusen, not getting a shot on target. We got 11, so the scoreline probably flatters us a bit, but we'll definitely take that. And it's good to get in a position with 2 games to go where we should really be getting out of this group and being the tournament favourites. That certainly takes some pressure off us, and at the very least we're looking a lot better than we were earlier this season. We've just found something ever since, just changing things around role-wise and turning the tempo down ever so slightly. We've really clicked into gear, and we are looking very hard to beat at the moment. We'll tell the boys that we are very happy with that. In fact, first half wasn't great, so maybe I should have just told them it was good, but happy days here, and we'll come back, run through the Champions League results, the group standings, and then we'll have a look at our former clubs. Okay, so because of the fact that we've won both our games against Bayer Leverkusen, I believe, we will be going through the next round of the Champions League already. Even if they caught us, we'd be going ahead of them thanks to head. So we are through the next round already with 2 games to go. So we've got Villarreal up next. If we can get a win over them or even a draw, I think. Actually, a draw might not be enough, but a win certainly will see us qualifying top. So that is very nice to see. 2 games in hand. That's very, very nice for us indeed. We'll show you guys the rest of the Champions League action now, and we'll go back a day to get these first couple of group results. Liverpool are now back on top after getting revenge on Bayern Munich from the previous game. Valencia tied with Bayern Munich in third, though. Shakhtar in fourth. In Group A and Group B, Milan on top after absolutely thumping Chelsea 6-2 at home, and Benfica are also tied with Chelsea after a 2-0 win over Salzburg. Down to Group C, Hertha Berlin and Juventus picking up wins the past match week. That means they are both tied at the top of the table on 8 points. Arsenal still in the hunt on 5 points, but Zenit well and truly out of things on nothing. Then we go down to Group D. Feyenoord beat Marseille 4-1. So Marseille, both the wheels falling off a little bit in Ligue 1 and the Champions League. That's disappointing for them, but they are still definitely in the hunt on 6 points. Leipzig beating Madrid as well. That means Leipzig go top. Feyenoord and Marseille tied on 6 points, so that could go either way. Madrid not out of things completely, but they've certainly got an uphill battle to be getting out of that group. Group E, unfortunately, for our former team Monaco, Manchester United have already secured 1 spot, albeit we go up a bit. They did beat Club Brugge to get up to 4 points, so they are technically still in the hunt, but they're going to need a result against Barcelona when they do play them, and probably against United as well, albeit the fact United have already secured top spot probably means that they might rest players, so that could fall into Monaco's favour. But yeah, Manchester United looking quite tough in that group, albeit we were able to beat them with Monaco last year, so you think we can do the job against them with PSG should we have to meet them. Group F, after both the teams in the top 2 picked up results, we have already qualified on 10. It's Villarreal and Bayer Leverkusen now, you would think, who are fighting out for the next qualification place. I can't see Man City coming back into it, and if it falls to the final game, I'd take some pleasure in knocking them out, it's fair to say. Group G, and Roma and Porto already qualified, PSV and Olympiacos in the mud. And then in Group H, Ajax have already qualified with Inter on 7 points. Look, they've probably already qualified as well. Celtic and Partizan both will need to do something pretty special to be getting out of that group. So that is how the Champions League is looking. So if you were just here for the gameplay, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow when we take on Villarreal in a game which could see us qualify top from the Champions League. But if you have been a long-time viewer or just curious, we're going to start looking through our former clubs. I think we're going to work back in reverse order because it's a lot easier from this screen for me anyway. Because Monaco, of course, so that we won't look at this club for too long because we've only left there for not even half a season yet. But we did a few good things in our 2.5 years there. Got them from 10th to 4th when we joined them straight after leaving Atlético Nacional in the 2026-7 season, I believe. And off the back of that, 2 years of finishing second behind Paris Saint-Germain. A couple of continental competitions we had with them, but we only really got to the first knockout round of both the Europa League and the Champions League. I think, in fact, in the second season, we actually got to the second knockout round of the Europa League. But either way, we didn't achieve a lot there in terms of continental competitions. But if we go to our manager profile, you will see there that we did win 2 Coupe de France and 2 Trophées des Champions. So we did pick up 4 trophies in our 2.5 years at the club. Look, we'll look at the squad quickly. They have sold some interesting players. In fact, I think it's going to be easier if you look at the transfer history, considering how recently we were there. And you can see that they've bought the players in that we set up for them. It's probably more the outs that are going to be interesting. So we'll look at these. They have sold Dahl, Makalele, Silvestri, Maeso, Makedo, of course, they sold to us. Running down here, they have sold plenty of players, or at least loaned them out as well. Tanguy Nianzou's gone to Club Brugge. That's interesting. 25.5 million euros. for the guy who was scoring a lot of goals from headers last season. That's an interesting player to let go. They've also let go of Ousmane Dembele, a player who was one of the better ones, and we're at the club only 3.5 million euros to Zenit, so that looks like a bit of a steal. We keep going down. Mohamed Kamara to Benfica, of course. I think we've seen him score a goal for them already in the Champions League. A good young right back. Maybe that's a player I should have been looking at, but they did let a fair few players go. Golubiewski went to Gladbach, so they've let go of a bit of the squad depth that we built up, which, to be fair, we probably had a bit too much squad depth there at Monaco, but it was a nice problem to have. They've certainly made a lot of money this transfer window and really haven't done a lot apart from, in terms of players in since we've left. They brought in Zuniga from America to Cali, and most notably Juanma Acosta from Chelsea. For a striker, his finishing's not great, but I suppose attacking midfielder would do a job for them. But yeah, Monaco currently in third in League, but as we saw, struggling a little bit in the Champions League, it is fair to say. We'll go back to our profile and maneuver our way all the way back to Atlético Nacional. We just had the one season with these guys in 2026. The Colombian season's running in the calendar year. We won 4 trophies with these guys. The Superliga bet place of the Colombian Community Shield. We won both halves of the Colombian League season, as well as the Copa Libertadores, of course. We made the final of the Copa Colombia, but missed out in that. Can't exactly remember who it was against, so we'll have a look at how these guys are doing. I do see that I've sacked a fair few managers since we left the club. Also, I'm still after an Atlético Nacional shirt. If anyone's out there from Colombia who can hook me up, I tried to get one off AliExpress for cheap, but New Zealand Customs sent it back from where it came from, which was interesting. So I honestly don't know how I'm going to get one of those shirts for my potential future background thing. But either way, we did a really good job in our season here. They've still got our main man from that part of the series, Alejandro Gutierrez. You can see he's only valued at 1.4 million euros, but to be fair, stats not great, but he did a really good job for us. He was our player of the season at Atlético Nacional. If we go back to history, you will see why. That was the year that we had him, I believe, the 39 goals and 39 appearances and 26 goals, 9 assists, 10 player of the matches. Dude was a beast up front for us. We'll have a look at the senior squad, see who else is here in terms of this team. Running through them, Daniel Harazo was a young player from memory when we were at the club. Promising left back, he's still there. None of these players really looking of the caliber that we can bring them to PSG, but they should certainly be doing a decent job over there. We keep running down, honestly. The only other player I remember here is Alejandro Gutierrez. In terms of the starting 11, we keep going down. There's Lasso, that was a player who we bought from Cucuta Deportivo to Atlético Nacional, looking solid enough, I suppose it's fair to say. And we keep going down. Buitrago, Patino, Plata. Starting to get a few more names here that we recognise. Hernando Venegas, Nada. We're getting a few more down here, but they are players struggling to find first team minutes. So it's fair to say things have changed a little bit at Atlético Nacional since we've left there. But look, they're first in the Colombian League at the moment. They've already qualified for the second phase of the first half of the season. And we'll just have a look at their competitions as well and see if they're in the Copa Libertadores, and they got knocked out in the group stage this year, albeit in a very tough group against Flamengo and Independiente. So, yeah, fair to say that we did a pretty good job with them when we had the players. Of course, they have sold some players who were at that club, most notably Jean Carlos Serna went to Lazio. So that was a big loss for them, their wonder kid defender, but they're doing a decent job. We will have a look at their history in terms of competitions, and we'll also have a look at these managers because they've gone through a heck of a lot, it is fair to say. They've had 5 proper managers now and a couple of caretakers. They've only won 2 cups since we've left there. They haven't won a league, so they actually have been struggling quite a bit, it is fair to say. And they certainly did not win the Copa Libertadores again, so it must have been one of these domestic. So it must have been the Colombian Cup that they picked up wherever we find it. There it is, the Copa Betplay de Mayor. No? Okay, what did they win then? And in fact, the only competition that they have been winning of late is the Superliga Betplay de Mayor, so very interesting stuff. And in fact, they won the Sudamericana against the division below the Copa Libertadores, whatever that one is. I can't actually think of the name of it now. Someone's going to let me know in the comments, but they won that just after we left as well. So, yeah, fair to say they're actually struggling a bit at Atletico Nacional, but we did have a wonderful time there with only one season, but we did a heck of a job when we were at the club. And before that, we were at Cucuta Deportivo for a season and a half. We joined there straight off, well, I say straight off the back of Hamilton Wanderers. Wasn't quite straight off the back. It took a few months for us to get that job. We nearly got them into the second phase promotion final, but it wasn't to be. But in the second season there, we got them promoted to the top division of Colombia, winning both halves of the season. So we didn't even need a promotion playoff. We'll have a look at how they are doing. And they are currently 6th in the top division. So we did, of course, play these guys in our last game in charge of Atletico Nacional, where we beat them in the second phase final. They've done a really good job since they've gone up there after a bit of a wobbly first half of the season that we took over at Atletico Nacional. They've done pretty well making that second phase final, and they look firmly entrenched in the top division now. Not expecting to see too many players from the squad here, although I think Sutrich is a familiar name. He might have been a young goalkeeper in the system when we left there. Looking decent. We keep going down. Christian Orlego, of course, was a very good midfielder for us. We keep going down. Not as many faces that I remember here, or names at least. Victor Madranda, was he? No, he can't have been there. Don't think he was anyway. Evans Green, he was a player who we used quite a bit at Cucuta Deportivo, getting my Colombias mixed up. Still looks decent enough. Good cheap option for a club, 300,000 euros. Keep going down. Lucas Bazozzi was a backup striker that we brought into the club. He is joining another club. Look, he did a decent job for us while he was there. Valued very little. It does remind you just how easy it was to get players on the cheap in Colombia. Hernan Venegas was the main man, and to be fair, he actually looks better than some of the strikers that are at Atletico Nacional at the moment, but he was a bit hit or miss for us, but did a decent job, and at 24 years old, I reckon you could do a bit worse than that for 450k in this game anyway, at least in this save universe. But yeah, a few familiar faces, but once again, not a lot of them actually in the first team. In fact, I skipped past one, Jose Martinez. He was another promising defender that we brought to that club. He is definitely still in the first team picture, so he's probably the most recognisable starting name in that team. But I've been doing a decent job, it's fair to say, since we left them. Finishing 7th overall in the first year, 11th, 16th, 10th, and 8th, and then 6th. They're sort of a mid-table team, it's fair to say, but they occasionally do sneak into that playoff round, semi-final group stage. And of course, that was the way that they did reach the final, where we did play them. Of course, we've just spotted a few more familiar names here. Moises Sandoval, he is now at Tuleria's good goalkeeper. We probably could have got him at Atletico Nacional, but we did have Ed Galara from memory. But he was another good player we had at that club in that promotion season. I will actually go back to Atletico Nacional briefly because I forgot to look at that history overview, and you can see since we were there, they had a third, a first, a third. They're currently first, but with the way the Colombian system works, they haven't been able to win the final games, which are the trophy games. So I think that's where they're struggling. They've been doing pretty well on the whole, have Atletico Nacional, but just not picking up the trophies to get rewarded for that they would have expected. And then we go all the way back to New Zealand when we reach the top of the New Zealand Hall of Fame. This feels like blimmin' ages ago. Hamilton Wanderers are one and done then. We won the ISPS Hunter Men's Premiership, which ironically is now null and voided in New Zealand because there's a different system for the New Zealand League. It's split into regions, which might make another version of this save more interesting next season, because in theory, we could actually take a team like Caversham to the Champions League now, which would be very interesting. Or I could take my hometown club in Nelson Suburbs. So that's something that might be worth doing next season. Maybe another Hexagon challenge. I'm not sure. We'll see how we go. But Hamilton Wanderers, they're looking interesting. Obviously, this is New Zealand semi-professional teams, so a bit different to the teams we've just been looking at. We'll have a look at their history. You can see they did the double the years that we were there back in 2024-25, but since then, they've fallen off a cliff, it's fair to say. So they have really been struggling. Connor Tracy, most clean sheets by a player. He is, in fact, now a goalkeeping coach. He's retired at 32 years old. That's very surprising. Do we have player attributes? No. We'll look at his history a little bit. Hamilton Wanderers went to Portugal. That might explain it. Went to Portugal, then all the way down to the Otago University, who for some reason, despite being in the southern region of the country, are playing in the Canterbury League. So, interesting stuff. Not sure why they let, well, I can understand why they let him go on a free to Portugal, because why wouldn't you go to Portugal if you could, but didn't get a lot of game time there. A couple of years at Otago Uni, and he has retired by the look of it, which is interesting to see. Connor Tracy. But we'll have a look at their squad quickly. Obviously, they've been doing a great job since we left, and their last Champions League was won by us. I'm not expecting to see a lot of names I recognise here, and in fact, a lot of the players are actually not even in a team. Jordan Lamb was a player who was at the club, valued at 0, so he's not even on a contract. He's been doing okay for them, nothing special. The year that we had him, he did get the occasional game. Actually played quite well, free player of the matches coming off the bench mostly. Mete Ili was a player that we brought in there. He's been doing okay jobs off the bench, it's fair to say, since we got him in from a free from Hellas Verona. Jared McKechnie, I believe, was here. And indeed he was, but he's been, to be fair, a solid first team player. Keep going down, trying to find the absolute legends from this club, but I cannot. In fact, I know why one of the legends isn't here, because he would have moved on while we're here. We'll have a look for him. You know who it is. I've got the shirt number on the back. Rafael Floro, ahead of youth development. That is what he has done. To be fair, England, Portugal, New Zealand, and Lithuania is not a bad knowledge base to have. It's covering the world, it's fair to say. In terms of attributes, not the greatest head of youth development, but that's what our good man Rafael Floro is doing. Of course, he was with us both at Caversham and Hamilton Wanderers. Did a superb job for us. Went on to Forest Hill, Milford, and then Porto Santenzi. So, little trip to England and then back to Portugal before he started doing more admin stuff. Currently unemployed, but I don't think we'll be bringing him to PSG. But yeah, interesting to see Hamilton Wanderers have been struggling ever since we won both the Premiership and Champions League with them, having done it the season prior to when we got there as well. So they've really fallen off a cliff, have Hamilton Wanderers. And then we go back to the OG. Of course, a lot of these games that I played actually weren't on camera because we joined YouTube in this 2023 season, kind of halfway through. But we had a really good time at Caversham, won the Chatham Cup, 3 Southern Premier League championships in a row. It was a great old time at the New Zealand Amateur Club. These guys have been winning for fun from what I can see. They've only just got a new manager because their previous manager, Jacob Crump, has recently joined the Wellington Phoenix in the A-League as manager. I've been keeping an eye on these guys. They've got more season ticket holders than Hamilton Wanderers. So Hamilton Wanderers need to pick your game up, guys, because that's a bit embarrassing. But you look at them, I mean, they're a decent club. Ahmed Ankara is still here. Oliver Calotti. I've got some decent young players that I've recognised too. Elijah Just is a name that I've heard of. But Oliver Calotti was a player we brought in right before we left the club from a divisional rival. He hasn't played stuff all for them, though, to be fair. So, yeah, not sure if he should really be their captain. Ahmed Ankara, we got him from Ghana fairly early on. Did a good job while we were here. They're not playing our players a heck of a lot, it's fair to say, though. We'll have a look at their history overview. They just have been winning for fun ever since we left. They've just been absolutely dominant. And with the team that we left them with there, it would have been hard for them not to be doing that, to be fair. Have a look at their players. Eric Dick's still there. Paul Haraway. Jake Garrett, Ankara, Calotti, Willem Ebbing. Angel Baena is still in New Zealand. That's a bit surprising. The Spaniard striker, he's still there. Albeit they're not getting played a lot. Not sure what's happening with this save in New Zealand. I was a little bit worried if we did stay there for a bit longer, whether stuff would go wrong. It appears it might be. It was just a bit weird how the OFC qualification was working in the top division as well. But it's definitely a lot of names that we recognise there. Harry Easthope, Suleiman Mohadir, probably the player of the club when we were there. 35 years old now, the Turkmenistani, very good while we were there. To be fair, he's actually been playing the old game, so maybe it's not as glitched out as I thought it was, but The dude was an absolute beast for us when we were there. Very limited games, lots of goals, absolute club legend, I would anticipate. Francis Kelly, I vaguely remember. TL Iradakunda was a decent midfielder for us from Burundi. Hasn't really played a lot since we've left the club. And then a lot of players down here as well that we recognise. Liam Moore, Alex Garcia, Ben Dilly, Brazier, Langley, Hawkins. There's a ton of players that they've stockpiled here, albeit a lot of this was our work, but there's certainly a well-stacked club and could probably match it with some of the New Zealand Premiership teams. Definitely built up a nice team in Caversham. I'll have a quick look at their overview, because this is the one club that with the time we spent there, we could be an icon, and no, we're not. It's Jacob Crump. It's the man who took over for us. Didn't even win a Chatham Cup, and he's an icon. Of course, Crump was the under-20 manager when we were at the club. Late on, took over from us, spent 6 years there, and is now in charge of the Wellington Phoenix. And they are right near the bottom of the A-League, albeit early doors, so we can't really judge him there. But interesting to see how he has moved on. But that's our former clubs. Look, a few names that we recognise, bit hard to tell how they've been doing in terms of the New Zealand save anyway, but an interesting look back. Caversham still doing quite well, as Atletico Nacional, I suppose, just not getting it done in those trophy games, which, to be fair, I didn't really like those either. I prefer the European system where you have a league and whoever finishes top of that wins. But Caversham and Atletico Nacional doing quite well. Monaco, still too early to tell, to be frank, but Hamilton Wanderers and Kakuta Deportivo. Look, Kakuta are actually doing quite well for a promoted team, but Hamilton Wanderers really struggling. In fact, they've got a new stadium too with Caversham, so they are really branching out. Would have been nice if they did that while we were there. Surprised it's not called the Jacob Crump Stadium or something silly that. But nevertheless, Caversham probably looking in the best state of any club that we've left, it is fair to say. But if you did enjoy that little wrap up, let me know down below, and I can do these in the future when we reach more milestone episodes. But if you did enjoy today's episode where we took on Bayer Leverkusen and secured our place in the knockouts of the Champions League, then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up, and also if you enjoyed the content here, hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. In terms of tomorrow's episode, as I said, it will be a game against Villarreal, where a win would secure us top spot in the group. And we also will show you guys highlights from games against Toulouse, who are bottom of Ligue, so a good chance to rest some players there. And then off the back of what must be an international break, we take on Stade Brest, who I believe are also down near the bottom. So they have really struggled since that first season at Monaco, where they were right up there. The first full season, I should say, the last couple of years. Fallen off a cliff a bit, it is fair to say, have Brest, but they'll be the games we show you guys prior to Villarreal tomorrow. But thank you very much for watching. If you've lasted this long, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you tomorrow for Villarreal away in the Champions League. Cheers.